Welcome to AI to I, our brand new podcast series where we decode the world of AI, advanced technology, and the next frontier of innovation. This is brought to you by the Advanced Technology Research Council. I'm your host, Ramsey, so let's get started. Today, I am joined by Santos Merino from CRC
Hello,
TII. Hello, Santos. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Excellent. And I should say CRC is the Cryptography Research Center here at TII. And today we're going to cover topics such as bugs in software, how autonomous systems are starting to discover malware and vulnerabilities in AI, and of course, how they exploit detection. And of course, we're here joined by you, and you can tell us all about that.
Yes, my pleasure to be here.
Thanks for coming. So, to start, just before we dig into these questions, can you just give us a general overview of what is or how does AI and vulnerability detection work? How does your day to day look like?
Yeah, in my team we work in many different areas.
Okay.
The scope is quite wide,
Mhm.
and lately with all this work that has been done in AI, we can somehow start using and integrating AI in many of the activities we do. So, in the security lab at a high level, we work both in hardware security and software security.
Okay.
Today, we will focus more, I think, in the software part, but even for hardware tasks,
Yeah.
for some of the activities and the tests that we can do. Uh, AI is starting to be part of the tools that we use on a daily basis because
Okay.
for many things that before were kind of tricky for a human eye to do, AI can find some patterns that otherwise for us it would be quite difficult to detect.
Is that because AI can find the patterns much faster, or is it just it's just difficult for humans to be able to find the um the patterns that we're talking about?
Yes, it's more. Sometimes these patterns are very subtle,
Oh, okay.
and only if you have the luxury of having a team with very senior people and that can spend a lot of time on very dedicated task, you can afford this. But sometimes we have to work with deadlines that are very tight, and usually this kind of tiny details we don't have time to go into
Okay.
such level of detail.
And can AI actually find the software vulnerabilities on its own? Is that something you need to run constantly, or the AI is always in the background finding any vulnerabilities in the software?
So AI, so I would answer with a yes, but
Okay.
there are some limitations.
Mhm.
And so when we are working on, let's say, new applications,
Okay.
we do this by using a programming language, and at the end we end up with a set of files that's what we call the source code.
Okay.
Current AI is quite good analyzing this source code,
Mhm.
but it has more problems when we talk about binaries. So this source code is in large amount is, let's say, generic, and it doesn't really matter if you are going to deploy this application in your laptop
Mhm.
or in your smartphone, or I don't know, in a smartwatch. The I would say large part of this source code will remain the same, and there
Okay.
will be few building blocks that you need to create for the specific target, and this makes
Mhm.
the analysis much simpler. because you can take the AI, train train it to understand the programming language and the use case in which you are working.
For like the specific application
Yeah.
that you needed to.
And you can do this with many source files.
Okay.
The problem is when we talk about binaries. And why this is a problem? Because once you have the source code, what you need to create is this binary, and for that we use what we call a compiler. A compiler will create a specific, let's say, package of the source code that can run in your laptop, in your smartphone, or in any device. This one, under the hood, is using, let's say, the language that this device will understand.
Okay.
So that means that in this case, it's much more diverse. The number of potential combinations and settings that we need to consider is large. And if we are talking about something as a laptop, that's quite common, and most likely you can find many binaries to train your AI. But if we talk about things that are a bit more exotic, I don't know, imagine the software that runs in an airplane.
Yeah, more complex, I assume.
Yeah, so getting enough samples to train your AI becomes more difficult. So what we try to do is, okay, we know that the case of source code is something AI can handle quite well.
Okay.
So let's try to move from this case, which is less convenient for us, which is the binary case.
Binary means without the source code?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's try to move to the easy case, to the source code analysis. And for that, we can rely on something, as I told you before, for moving from the source code to the binary, we use what we call a compiler.
Yeah.
There is the other way around, which is going from the binary to the source code by means of the compiler.
Okay, creating your own source codes.
So the compiler allows us to take a binary and get something that looks like the original source code.
Okay.
But this is actually the problem. It looks like the source code. And depending on how good this the compiler is, the source code will be more or less representative of the original source code that was implemented by the developers.
Okay.
What's the problem?
Is it like a sandbox?
No, it's not
the representative's source code, because it's not really the original thing, but it's very similar to it.
It's very similar to it. Sandbox is different concept because when we have a sandbox, what we do is we try to isolate the software that we are trying to analyze.
Yes.
Because, for example, it might be malware.
Yeah.
And we don't want this malware to affect the rest of the system.
Okay.
And
so
we keep it there isolated, and we can execute it and analyze it without
harming the actual the original system.
Yeah. But in this case, everything is static. The problem is that this source code, even for a human, many times is the decompiled code. I'm talking is not straightforward to understand, and you really depend on how good this code that you recover is. And because of that, this is one of the reasons why relying only on AI for analyzing binaries is something that still requires a bit more work. We are not yet there.
Well, best of luck to get there. Hopefully soon. So just a quick overview before we get into more detail. What you do specifically is, are you building software to detect and stop any vulnerabilities coming into an operating system?
I wouldn't say we are stopping the vulnerabilities.
Okay.
what we do in the security lab, we take something that has been developed already. So
Okay.
we cannot really stop the vulnerability,
Hmm.
but what we can do is we can detect it.
Okay.
And for example, software development companies, if they are serious about security, usually they have a roadmap with different releases, right?
Yeah.
And they take into account that before every release, or at least any big release or a delivery for an important customer, they allocate some time for doing a security review.
Right.
That's where my team could help, and that's where our AI tools can help. So it's not really like we are going to stop the vulnerability, but
Hmm.
at least we can inform the developers that there are several issues
Hmm.
that they should fix before making this release publicly available.
Okay. So you detect the malware and inform the owners of the system that it exists, that there
Yeah,
is malware on their system, or at least there's some vulnerability.
yeah. We need to distinguish between these two cases.
Yeah.
Vulnerabilities are usually introduced by the developers,
Okay.
let's say by mistake.
Okay.
So in some cases, they are not aware of some risks associated with using some specific functions or some building blocks.
Okay.
And they introduce these vulnerabilities that, after being deployed, an attacker may try to
Okay.
leverage. Malware is a different thing. Malware is something that has been developed with
The purpose.
malicious
Yeah.
intentions.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for cleaning that up. That's good. So essentially, it's like leaving the house and forgetting to lock the door,
Yeah,
and you go in. You're like, hey, that door's unlocked. You
yeah,
got to make sure that that's a vulnerability. That's where an attacker
exactly.
could come in and and install malware.
Yeah. And we are, let's say, the security guard that calls you saying, "Look, you forgot."
Cool. Let's move on to this one. So if we can jump into malware conversation. Malware, as we all know, keeps evolving and disguising itself, and it gets better and better every day with new attackers. How does AI detect these threats on systems or threats that it has never seen before or been trained on?
Yeah, this is actually one of the fields where in my opinion, AI is going to help us more.
Hmm.
If we talk about how malware detection was done until very recently, uh, usually companies developing this kind of solutions, what they were doing is gathering thousands or millions of samples
Hmm.
from these different sources of malware. And
Right.
for each of these samples, they would extract different kind of indicators.
Okay.
And with all those indicators, they would create a huge database where they have for each sample some indicators.
Okay.
When the user of the antivirus
Yeah.
software or whatever receive a file that he may believe that is malicious,
Right.
he would provide it to the tool,
Hmm.
and it would, again, same, it would take these indicators and compare with what the tool has in the database. If there is a match, that means that the tool already saw that sample before, and it knows this is malicious,
Right.
and it will report this to the user. This is
Hmm.
great, and I think it's in general quite the intuitive approach. Problem is that you depend a lot on having many samples, and even if you can gather many malware,
Yeah.
attackers, one of the things that they do, they keep track of what AV companies are doing to detect the malware, and they come up with new ways to
It's
make
like
these indicators useless.
it's a game of cat and mouse.
Yeah,
They get indicators, and then the hackers try to find ways around the indicators, and
yes.
so on, so on.
Yeah, there are times depending on the
Yeah.
indicator, of course, but there are some indicators that even if the developer of malware can switch one bit, the indicator will look completely different, making this approach not very effective. Nice thing of AI is that, let's say, with conventional tools, we are more focused on the what, so basically these samples,
Yeah.
and we try to detect them. With AI, it's more about the how. So we can focus more on understanding how this malware behaves. And instead of only taking into account the database of samples that we have, we can also create models that try to distinguish between the behavior of a naive application that is doesn't have any kind of malware inside,
Yeah.
from those that are trying to do something shady in your system. So this is the nice thing with AI. We can cope much better with this problem of not having access to many malware samples or to malware that keeps evolving using new techniques.
So is that would that fall under anomaly detection?
Yeah.
If it's comparing to the original, and then whatever it has is slightly different or been altered with.
Yeah, it's like
So that's one way.
we try to leverage this pattern recognition capabilities of AI to implement this anomaly detection.
Okay, and is it effective?
It's quite effective. It's AI in general is quite good doing this kind of classification.
Yeah.
And for this kind of task is quite good, and there are different commercial solutions that are already integrating AI. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good to know. We're getting safer and safer. Okay. Next, we'd like to talk about mobile forensics. In this field of mobile forensics, where does AI make its biggest impact?
Okay, this is another interesting topic. In mobile forensics, at a high level, we can split the task in two different processes. So first, when let's say if this is for some police investigation, and there is a mobile device from which we want to get the data out.
Yeah.
Because it might be useful for the investigation, right? The first step is this one. We need to see how we can find a way to get the pictures, the contacts, everything out of this device.
Okay.
This is something which nowadays, because laptops, smartphones include many different mitigations, it's not trivial. But even for this, as we mentioned before, AI can help to find vulnerabilities, but it can, for example, help us to find ways to bypass some of these mitigations.
Yeah, using the vulnerabilities.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the first step, and AI can help. But the second one, and where I think AI brings more value in forensics, is the part of the analysis. So let's say that you successfully got all the data from the device.
The device, yeah.
You know, nowadays sometimes in our smartphones we have thousands of pictures.
Right.
We have many WhatsApp discussions, and if all this data needs to be analyzed for an investigation, this is something that the human, with more or less time, he could go through all the pictures and try to see what he can find out.
One by one.
But for example, there might be some subtle details between pictures that you may miss. so the AI can help us not only with speeding up the process of analyzing many pictures or many data,
Yeah.
but also to do more in-depth investigations and
Okay.
try to find links between, for example, different pictures. It may be able to say, okay, this person appears in this and this and this picture.
Okay.
There might be some kind of relationship. So this is
Okay. Just to summarize, mobile forensics are essentially data points, like it would be data points on my own phone from pictures, from WhatsApp messages, from any text messages that you can identify about me.
okay. Mobile forensics, I would say, is the field that, on the one hand, tries to extract data
Data extraction.
from
Okay.
the endpoint, from your laptop or from your smartphone,
Yeah.
and it also takes care of this part of analyzing the data that is extracted.
Okay.
Yeah,
This is so this would mostly used with like police investigations or
sadly,
okay, for that. Especially when the phones are locked. This is one way they can try to get around it
yeah.
without having to unlock it somehow. Okay, good to know. Okay, let's move on to our big picture global questions that we have for you. And getting right into it, as cyber threats become more automated and complex, do you see AI as the only viable way to keep up with the attackers, to keep us safe, or we still need the human touch at this point?
Yes.
Can we let AI run loose and just as our only solid defense, or do we still have to be there watching as well?
Yeah, I think we are not there yet.
Okay.
But AI is already very useful in this context, especially for automating
Yeah.
things. So whenever there is an incident, we can analyze what's going on much faster, thanks to the AI capabilities.
Yeah.
But what I say is that okay, let's say that we can understand the issue very quickly.
Yeah.
That information still needs to be processed by a human that eventually he or she will need to take some actions based on what's going on. And the problem is that the actions that must be taken in some cases not only depend on the technical problems. So if, let's say, you are the head of the security department in a large company, these actions may have some impact not only in the infrastructure, but also might be repercussions for the image of the company.
So that's where you need a human to
for
to
the
decide.
users of your company. So
yeah.
And I think the AI is not ready to take that kind of decisions.
Yeah, especially if decisions can, as you said, destroy some of the
Yeah.
infrastructure that they've already built as the security. But then, as a first line of security, that's where you have it, and then it shows you where all the detections were. But then a human has to decide what to do with those issues or threats.
Yeah, right now that's the most likely case.
Okay, well, nothing's 100% trustable yet, but I think we're getting there. Eventually, might be a few years, but sure. But like you said, yeah, you still need a human to decide what to actually do with the data once the AI sifts through it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Do you envision AI transforming the future of digital investigations or cyber defense on a global scale?
Yes, absolutely.
And this could go back to what we was talking about, the mobile forensics.
Yeah, and well, it's already happening.
Yeah,
It's already happening. Let's say, like, if I think on myself, a couple of years ago, whenever I was working on a task, it was basically me, my computer, and the internet. But nowadays, thanks to all these AI tools, the agents,
Yeah.
the assistants we have, now at the same time that I'm doing some task,
Hmm.
I can have in the background different agents,
Just running
yeah,
continuously.
taking care of other activities. And
Okay.
sometimes these activities are not like adding real value to, to my goal, to my task,
Yeah.
but are things that I should do anyway. And things as simple as trying to install a new tool or things like this
Hmm.
that sometimes it's kind of a burden and it takes time because you need to understand the process and everything. The AI agent could do that on your behalf.
It's not too much on your CPU to have these running all the time on your computer, or they don't take too much.
Depends
Just
on,
background.
but sometimes, at least for now, and again, I'm talking about my particular case. Uh, I use them for simple tasks.
Okay.
For what's important, it is still me.
Okay. That's good to know. And I think we have actually another episode about the agentic AI applications.
Yeah.
So we'll dive deep into those ones at another time. But it's good to know that you also keep them running on your computer when you're working.
Yeah.
I still gotta dive into that and figure out how to use them to make my life easier. But I still haven't gotten into that. Um, let's get into our next question, which is there's often concern about AI being used offensively in cyber attacks. We've talked about how it can be used to detect vulnerabilities and detect maybe malware. Um, in this question, we want to explore what happens when it's on the other side, detecting vulnerabilities and then installing malware. How do we balance the dual use nature of these tools? And it's
Yeah.
just eventually it's just AI versus AI trying to outsmart each other.
This is difficult to answer
Yeah,
question.
sorry, it might be a loaded
And
question, but let's try.
and I think we have this kind of dilemma with many other technologies,
Yeah.
and it's hard to regulate this because it's true that in the case of AI, now we have things like guardrails
Hmm.
and some tools that can try to filter what the tools provide to the user. But still, these guardrails are not perfect. If you take a bit care when you write the prompt,
Hmm.
you can still
Bypass them somehow.
bypass them
Yeah.
many times. And there is also this thing that at the end, if you are a big actor,
Yeah.
uh, it's quite likely that you can develop your own models and create your own infrastructure. And in those cases,
Mhm.
you will do that freely without any kind of filter. So I think, like in other kind of fields, you can try to regulate more this from a legal point of view.
Yeah.
From a technical point of view, maybe there are few things that, especially with public models,
Yeah.
you could do to make the life of these malicious actors a bit more difficult. But at the end of the day, if they are determined to do it, they will.
They will do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They will find a way.
it's yeah.
Okay. Let's go into our speed round before we let you go. I'm gonna ask you just a few, maybe 3 or 4 questions, quick ones, and then if you just give a quick answer, just to give your quick opinion, and then that would be the end of our episode today. Is that fine with you? Okay. Do you think AI is better at spotting bugs or writing them?
Right now, I think writing them.
Writing them.
Yes.
And with your job to spot them, you're playing catch up at this point.
Yeah, problem many times when even when you try to give a lot of context and details to the AI to spot bug.
Yeah.
What we found many times is that it seems that the AI is very determined to find a vulnerability in the source code that we provide, and sometimes it come up with something that doesn't exist.
Oh, so, like hallucinating?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it reports some snippet of code, few lines,
Yeah.
and tells you, look, there is this vulnerability here. And then when we go back to the source code that we provided, we see that those lines of code are not there.
They don't exist.
Yeah.
So the AI is toying with you, or it has some malicious intent?
No, I think that this is
Or just
a
hallucinating.
current limitation of the.
That's a limitation.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Would you ever trust an AI to patch your live code base automatically?
I wouldn't. I
You
wouldn't,
wouldn't.
especially for this same problem. I think they can really help fixing vulnerabilities, but you still need to keep an eye and double check that everything is good. Not only to make sure that it's addressing the problem in the best way, but also to make sure that the changes that it's introducing in the code are safe and they are not open new doors for attackers.
Right. That would be good. If your smartphone was hacked, would you prefer a forensic AI or a human expert to try to find the leak?
Well, as a user, I would say that as long as it can find the leak or the problem, I don't really care much if it is a human or an AI based solution, because if my concern is privacy,
of course, yeah.
My point of view in that regard is that if either the developers of the AI tool or the analyst taking care of the investigation wants to do something with my data, they can do it anyways. So
okay, I'm sure if I ask the same question to a criminal, they might not want the AI to be looking through their phone. Instead, maybe want a human to make a mistake and miss it.
Right now, I would say because of the limitations of AI, I'm not sure the AI would be better than the human. It's hard to say.
Oh, still not.
It's hard to say.
Okay, well then, we'll see what we come up with. Is AI more of a detective, a bodyguard, or a spy when it comes to cybersecurity?
Well, I would say it can be all of them, right?
All three.
AI is the technology, and it has this nice thing of allowing us to create a wide range of tools. Like now, we have tools to create pictures. We have tools to tell us which stocks we should buy.
Yeah.
We have
in every domain.
Yeah. So, if in the context of cybersecurity, it really depends on what we need to build. So it's so flexible that we can tailor it to our needs.
Okay. Well, thank you for your inputs. I'm sure we all learned quite a good amount about AI and its vulnerability and exploit detection in security software. Thank you, Santos, for joining us. Hopefully, we'll see you again. And if you'd like to add anything, the floor is yours. No, we're all good for today. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.